Oh my gosh, my love. I love you so much and I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I love that we had a chat the other week when we were scheduling this interview about what were we going to talk about. And we were like, yes, that's so bloody good. Yeah, we're locking into that. That's a great conversation. It's so relevant. It's so timely. And then just before we hit record, you dropped you dropped a bombshell on me, which kind of rocked what we were going to talk about. But I feel like has given it another element of depth that we can explore because what we were going to talk about is a big part of your, I suppose, career identity has always been photographer. I mean, that's how I was introduced to you. That's how I discovered you. It was how we first met, was me coming on one of your photo shoots. And we have obviously stayed friends since then. Um, and then it kind of didn't, like that label or that outfit didn't really sit well. It began not to sit well with you. And you were really grappling with it. And you kind of let it slip away over time, bit by bit, as you were working out, okay, well, then if I say goodbye to this huge part of my identity and this chapter of my career that I've known for so long, am I okay to sit in the space to see what comes next? And then you've just dropped on me that actually you're coming back to your true love. You're coming back to your soul's calling after I couldn't believe when you said it's been a year. It's been a year of like no photography, um, not calling yourself a photographer, giving yourself that space. And so the first question I want to ask you is landing fresh in this homecoming, how does it feel?
What a great question. It has been such a tumultuous year of being in the void, basically. And I have no problem being in the void. I've done it quite a few times, throughout my life. But this one has been a very extended stay. I've never been in a void for this long. Um, and it feels amazing. But it's a goddamn roller coaster. So some days it feels amazing. When it feels amazing, it feels like you're on top of the world and you're home and you figured out reality. You know this life, you know the secrets of the universe, and oh my God, everything is fucking fantastic. And then on other days, you're just like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? I don't even make any sense anymore. How is everyone getting by? How are they adulting? How is like anything even working in this world? So it's been a little bit dramatic. But as we just had our little chat before, that's been the funniest and like, I don't know if ironic's the word, but I feel like every time I make a little commitment to put myself out there or to confront another fear, it's like another piece of the puzzle drops in. And I get to know myself even more. And I'm like, oh fuck, I thought I already knew myself. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I thought I'd tapped in and I'd come home and yeah, it was all good. I had my plan. And then you asked me to be on a podcast, and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to sound like a dick. This is so nerve wracking. And like I'm sweating bullets sitting here talking to you. But every time I confront one of my fears, yeah, it's like the universe drops me another golden nugget, and life just gets richer again. But the byproduct of that is you're just a little bit confused while you piece it all together, but then it all fits again. And it's just this wild dance of just trusting, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, out of just about everybody that I know, you are probably top of my list when I think of people who are comfortable with the void because you have this innate ability to just go, ah, fuck it, here we go again. Into the dark we go. Into the dark night of the soul. That's all good. No worries. I got my journal. We'll be right. Um, and I really admire that about you because I just feel like there's such a deep, I don't know, there's just such a beautifully deep commitment within you to like literally just discovering what life is all about and what this human experience is meant to be. And you're just here to like literally just suck the nectar out of every flower in life. And I love that about you because you, like your disposition, your attitude, your approach has really helped me through some very dark, extended nights of the soul. And you're not one to shy away from that either, which has just held me in such good stead. Like I think there have been a few people in my life, especially this year, you being one of them, who have really shown me what true friendship is. And that's, somebody who doesn't shy away when things are really messy and ugly and dark and hard. And but I love how like you really take those tough times, you take those really messy and confusing times, and you just let them be what they are. You don't try and dress them up or push them away or force yourself through them. You just let them be what they are. And like what you said, like, yeah, some days really are confusing. And I was just saying to you, I was like walking Amalfi yesterday bawling my eyes out because I was so frustrated at myself. Having one of those what the fuck am I doing moments where it's like, am I on the right path? Am I really doing what I'm meant to be doing? Like, what the fuck? And it was really beautiful because another girlfriend of mine said, well, like, let your frustration have its airtime. Like, maybe there's something in it there that it wants to tell you. And I would love to know, like, when you are in the thick of those really messy, confusing, overwhelming days, what's like a little go-to practice, or do you have a particular question that you like to ask yourself to just try and just like calm that shit show down and just try and just be like, okay, this is like one step in the direction back to clarity again, you know?
Yeah. Um, I think once you kind of get to a point of knowing yourself and you know how you work and what your triggers are and things, the best question I ask myself is how is this situation, or how is this person, or whatever it is, how is this helping me learn more about myself? So if, yeah, I kind of just take whatever is happening externally and just flip it and go, okay, well, why is this showing up for me? And what's it here to teach me about myself? And since I've been doing that, well, one, you're never lost for bloody things to ask yourself about. But it really does help you get to know yourself better. And through this process over the past year, and giving myself so much space and time to be able to explore what my purpose is and what I'm meant to be doing, I've really just learned that I am so highly sensitive, and I obviously always have been. And I think a lot of my behaviors in the past have been trying to numb that sensitivity, because I am not scared of the dark. I have, I'll go wading through whatever pits of human darkness you want to. I have no fear of doing that. But I think I was really scared of the light for a long time. I remember reading a quote by Marianne Williamson, which my friend has told me I don't know, it was misquoted or something. But anyway, it was something like, we're most afraid of our own potential. And that really resonated with me because, yeah, I feel like a lot of my life I've just been trying to just make myself not as much. And I know you will resonate with this because we've spoken about this before. Like, it's, there's all these quotes and there's all this tripe out there to be yourself, be your true self. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if the world's ready for me to be my true self. I'm pretty fucking out there. So I feel like this year has been like this really uncomfortable peeling back of all these layers, and just finding myself in situations and different conversations where I will self-censor, or I'll say yes to things when really I don't really want to. And then I was like, wow, I've been doing that my whole life. And it's just so fascinating. And it especially I have a 11-year-old daughter who's really out there. She's the most self-confident human I've ever met. And she just teaches me so much about myself, because every time I get triggered by her, I just see little Jodi in there. And I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, I think that was the age I told myself, yeah, I couldn't do that, or I couldn't say that, or you shouldn't be like that. So it's really just been like this treasure trove of of uncovering, all those ways we just dull ourselves and hide ourselves in order to fit in and to be liked.
My gosh. Oh my God. There's so much truth in that. And like I'm like day 4 of my cycle. So like tears are like prickling at my eyes because I'm like, I know it's like when you've struck gold, like with me, it's like the tears come. I'm like, wow, there is so much in that. And it's so true because I've been sitting with very similar thoughts lately about when did I decide that that's where I was going to hold myself back? Or when did I decide that that wasn't for me, or I wasn't allowed to be my full expression of myself, or full volume, or full brightness, or whatever? And it's so interesting when you do sometimes, I don't know if this has happened for you over the course of the year, when these things have been coming into your awareness and you're like, okay, well, I'll conduct a little experiment with myself. If I notice that I've been saying yes to things where I need to actually want to be saying no, I want to be saying no. Let
Mm.
me conduct a little experiment and like let me say no. And I'm really interested to know, like, has the universe been presenting you opportunities to practice? Like when you decide, okay, this is something that I'm now aware of. I
Mhm,
want to do something either about this or with this.
mhm.
Let's conduct an experiment or let's put this into action. Has the universe given you those little opportunities to play and to practice with it?
Oh, yeah. Yep. One after the other. Basically, every time I've made a call, like when I decided that I wasn't going to do photography anymore, I just felt so stifled by it. And I had been feeling that way for probably about 3 years, if I'm honest. But I'd kept saying to myself, I'm so lucky to do this. I'm so lucky to do something I love. How can you be unhappy with your dream job? Like, you spoiled little bitch. Be grateful. People hate their jobs. Just get out there and do it. But I knew something else was calling, so it really took a lot to put that down. And then as soon as I announced that I wasn't doing it, or I think I'd made the call and hadn't announced it, I had one of my dream clients contact me. Oh, and I was just like. But anyway, I just knew, if I really wanted to, I would have. But no, at that time, my heart was not in it. And I just explained that yeah, I couldn't work like that because, and you've worked with me before, you know how deep we go, and it's a very intimate setting to get your gear off for someone you've just met. Um, so they're really personal and vulnerable photo shoots, I guess, just to make that distinction between normal photography. Boudoir photography is definitely next level, vulnerable and trusting. But yeah, having to say no to that woman, oh my God, I was shaking and my voice was trembling and all the things. But after I did it, I just felt so empowered and I felt so strong and all these great things. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm a big girl now. Like I felt like that was a real grow up moment for me. And I've just had I used that then, like you say, as a way to set up more experiments. Like, okay, all right, well, Jode, if this is what you're going to do, you've got to stick to it. And yeah, it's been an interesting year. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I've been doing all these experiments over the years, and I've got all my mad writings and all these things, and it's coming. It's coming. I'm not sure what all the findings, how they're going to present themselves, whether it's a book or whatever, but it's all there and it's coming so that hopefully it'll help other people to have that courage to really tune in to what is best for your higher self. We get so caught up in our day to day, but if you have the space to be able to ask, connect in with your higher self first of all and then ask, but then it's next level to actually follow through. But the rewards are definitely there.
Yeah. And I think for some people, like sometimes our higher self can feel out of reach. Like that
Mm-hmm.
seems like a concept that isn't attainable just yet because maybe like shit has gone wrong or it's been a really awful year, or there's been like a series of crappy events and you just feel so far from your true self that you're just like, ugh. And so maybe like that first step towards reconnecting to your higher self is just like what you said, what I heard you say was when your heart wasn't in it anymore. And I feel like our heart is such such a guiding post for us. It's such a guiding light. It's like, well, okay, well, if you can't connect to what your higher self would do or want for you or what she'd do in this situation, like ask your heart. Like, how does your heart feel when you tune into this? Like, does it light up? Like, are you happy? Are you expanded? Does it feel good? Or does it make you want to contract? Like, does it make you go, ugh, ugh, that feels heavy. That feels hard. That feels ugh. Like,
Yeah.
would you say that that's like a nice little,
Oh,
practice maybe to start?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
think whatever signals your body gives
Mm.
you, that is the gold. Because especially if you're an overthinker, which I'm starting to realize maybe a lot of us are. I just thought it
Yeah.
was me. But
No.
the more open I am about how much I overthink, people are like, oh yeah, I do that. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. Oh, that's reassuring. And then I looked at Sabi's new shirts and they said, I overthink for fun. I was like, oh, hilarious. So apparently we're all just out here overthinking everything. And I think our bodies are often trying to tell us and give us clues on which way to go, but we're just disconnected from our bodies. So yeah, I think that's awesome advice. Yeah, forget about bloody connecting. It's just, yeah, tune into your heart and like those bodily sensations. There's so
Yeah.
much info there.
Yeah, there's so many signs and signals that our body gives us. And yeah, for some people they might feel it in their heart, others might feel it in their gut. Like, for others it might be like a little whisper. I know for me there's like just this sense of knowing. Like it's like a whole body. It's very gentle, but it's like really present. It's like I just know. I just know that that's a yes. I just know that that's the way to go or that's the decision to make or whatever. So it is. It's really becoming familiar with what your guiding force is, And as well, I think I really love what you said is like it's so wild that, one of the very first opportunities for you to put this into practice was like a dream client for you to have to say no to because that's where you were at. Like you really your heart wasn't in it, you weren't there anymore, and then along comes the dream client and you could have gone, "Oh yeah, just one last yes." But then where would that have taken you? How much would that have delayed what you've just spent the last year moving through and where you've now landed? That I think a lot of the times we get so caught up in like "Oh, that huge opportunity. I can't believe you said no to that." And we go, "Yeah, but what if you said yes?" Like,
Mm.
what other path or what other timeline would that have put you on? And then you would have had to find your way back again. And so if someone's listening to this and they're like, I know I need to stop self-betraying in whatever way it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be anything, or just even in those little daily decisions of saying yes when they meant to say no, doing something just to please everybody else when, oh, gosh, that's really just depleting them or draining them. What would be like your little tips for like checking in and taking a moment and then responding with truth rather than self-betrayal? Like what would be your little go-to little tips for that?
Yeah, my biggest thing is I just pause. And if I can't pause, then I go to the loo and I sit in the bathroom and I just put my hands on my heart and I take some deep breaths. And I'm like, okay, what do I need right now? And it's so hard. As you know, and most people know, I am not a fan of social media and technology. And I know why, because as soon as I went on it today, I opened up Insta and I saw people out doing stuff and I instantly felt shit. I got FOMO. I was like, oh, I should be out. I should be doing more. I should be socializing. And then I was like, no, Jodi, you don't want to socialize. You love being a little hermit. Why are you making yourself feel um, and that's the pull. Like I feel like we're pulled from so many directions by so many things. um and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just there's so many things demanding our attention. So if you haven't got that pause and that internal check for yourself, it's just so easy just to get led every day this way, that way, this way. And my advice is just start really small. Just start with that's what I did. It sounds so silly, but one of my friends, she used that word self-betrayal, and I wasn't that familiar with that concept. I never thought of it that way. And I was like, oh, yeah, wow. By saying yes to something, I'm actually betraying myself by not giving me the rest I need or, the time out I need. And then I think when you are a highly sensitive person, you really do need a lot of time out just to make sense of the world, because there's, such big feelings and so much going on. It's wild. So I've noticed in the past when I've had my, quote unquote breakdowns, or, these really huge moments, it's because I hadn't honored myself in the time and space my body needed to recalibrate with, my new knowledge or my new experience of the world. And I just feel I'm so much more grounded as a person by giving myself the space I need. Um, but I also understand, life moves fast. So it's a really conscious decision you have to make. And it's trying to find the pause wherever you can. And then slowly but surely it kind of grows. And then you
Mm.
get this trust in yourself and trust of knowing what you really need, which no one else does. Sometimes your mates can be like, oi, I think maybe you're doing too much or blah, blah, blah. But really only you know yourself what you need or what you don't need. So it's just developing that trust and acting on it.
Yeah, and I think like what you said just you made me laugh so much when you said, okay, and if I can't take a pause, I go to the toilet. Just like hide in the bathroom, especially if you're like sitting across the table from someone having a coffee or something, and you're like, I just gotta go to the bathroom, and they're sitting on the loo going, all right, let me tune into that. Let me think about this just for a second. I've got as much time as it takes me, a normal person, to pee to think about this. But it's so good because it just goes to show that you don't have to become a monk. You don't have to move to some remote corner of Bali to live this pristine spiritual life in alignment and in integrity with who you are. It's like you can hide in the toilet for a minute, or you can like text someone back and say, let me just check and or have a think and I'll come back to you. Like we can take these little micro moments of pause that can then help us tune into our own like little inner system of truth and be like, is this good for me? Is this what I want to do? Is this a step in the right direction? Is this going to get me closer to what I want to be achieving or doing? Or, you know, is this friendship serving me? Or is this job, if I take on this client or if I take this job, is this going to be moving me in the direction I want to go? Like we just, yeah, just those little micro moments of tuning in and getting the answer we need rather than just feeling so pressured to make a decision. And just you speaking and knowing you the way that I know you and like, the time we've spent together and like everything we share over voice notes and all that kind of thing. It's like I am really, really recognizing that I am a highly, highly sensitive person as well. And I am really keen to shed the shame of that because you talking about that just triggered, funnily enough, triggered a thought I had earlier today when I went into my bathroom at home. And I was just remembering how, like, as a young girl, I was always just like, oh, she's so sensitive. Like, oh, why are you being so overly sensitive? It was like always a criticism that
Mhm.
I was like this sensitive little being. And like, and then, if I start crying in a movie or something, like Chris will be like, oh my God, are you crying? Like, it's just like, oh my God, like, for those of us who are really sensitive, that has been like a badge of shame that we've had to wear. And I love that you're owning it loudly and proudly. And it's like, well, how do we start to shed the shame? Like, I know I want to because I'm so sick of like dulling myself down, really, like, really dulling myself down, turning down my volume just so I can quote unquote fit in. Um, and because I feel shame about like, oh, but I am really, really sensitive. I get triggered really easily. Yeah, I'm insecure. I can be a bit of a sad girl. Like, and also I feel really, really deeply. I love to overthink everything. Like, and I have a really big heart. And maybe like, all of those things are intertwined. So how do we start to shed the shame of being sensitive?
Mhm. I think just having these conversations
Mm.
are awesome.
Yeah.
One of my clients, I wrote about it when I first heard about the book Extra Sensitive People. No, sorry, don't quote me. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But I wrote a little thing in my email newsletter, and it triggered that thought for one of my clients, like, oh my God, I'm extra sensitive. And then once you discover something like that about yourself, it just, so much makes sense. And then you can have that compassion for yourself. And like, I remember I bought this book on ADHD. It was called Scattered Minds by Dr. Gabor Mate. And it was mainly so I could understand people around me. And I'm reading it going, oh, fuck, I think I've got ADHD. Like, makes so much sense. And I just think the more we discover about ourselves, naturally, I think shame kind of bubbles up and gets released naturally. But I have purposely been working on shame as well this past year. And that's something I've always worked through with clients too in our boudoir shoots, that we always do a meditation beforehand. And there is so much collective shame for women in general, around sexuality and expression and speaking out and being sensitive. So I just think we're in this awesome time where so many women especially are just talking about it, like you making these tapes. The first one I listened to, I was in tears within 2 minutes. And I just resonated so much with what she said. I was like, oh, you think that too? Oh my God, that's great. And then I was listening to a podcast on the way down today because I was beating myself up because, I haven't sent this email, I haven't been on Insta again, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. And it was this woman I really admire. And she had just posted this unedited, raw podcast of herself. And she was just like, you know what? This is it. And it was just so reassuring, like everyone's just doing their best. We're all trying to keep it together. But yeah, we just need to talk more about it. And I just find it so hilariously fascinating how humans, we love labels and we love to name things and categorize people and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, we're all just like this unique little mix of weirdness. And ironically, we're all kind of hiding it in however many different ways to different levels. And I just think, oh, how fucking fun would it be if everyone just let rip with their true selves? Like, it'd just be so much more fun. And like, you can see it. I can see it happening. Like, I got to travel a bit this year and going around, and you just recognize it in other people when they're not dimming themselves anymore. And then I think seeing someone else who isn't dimming themselves, that gives you more permission to, really, feel your feelings and express yourself.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah,
that,
I was gonna say it would be awesome to just be like moving through life like a toddler or like a young child. But then I'm like, oh yeah, but also that could go wrong spectacularly in other ways. But maybe we need to be embracing those European women in their 70s who have just let go of decades loads of fucks and are just like, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what matters to me, and this is how I'm moving through my life.
yeah, it feels so good.
Yeah, that feels more fun.
Yeah, totally. And I
Yeah.
think, if you're not enjoying adulting, then you need to look at how you're doing it, because I think adulting's fucking awesome. It's like you have the freedom. You have responsibility, but you have this insane freedom, which is all you wanted as a kid. Like, I see it in my daughter. She wants to grow up so fast. And everyone says to her, oh no, these are the best years of your life. And then we get in the car and she's like, oh, mum, really? Like, I think being an adult would be cool. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Being an adult's awesome. But like, you've just got to make sure that you're being your true self and doing what you want to do. And that's how you make it awesome. So it's keeping that childlike fun and play with all this wisdom and knowledge and skills that we acquire as we get old.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful because just the vision that I had while you were talking is I think for so many of us, we've become these adults in cages and we're holding the key.
Yes, so true.
Like we've, yes, society, conditioning, upbringings, all the things, life has circumstances have put us into like these cages, but we're the ones holding the key. And so we can decide at any time, yeah, nah, I'm not subscribing to this anymore. I'm just gonna like let go of that fuck and stop saying yes to that and hold that boundary over there and ditch that friendship and make that friend over there and take that class and finally learn French and do this and do that. And yeah, I think there's so much like what you said. It's just having that really beautiful, delicate balance of the childlike wonder and curiosity and playfulness with the wisdom and experience of being an adult and letting both of those things coexist within us and letting that move us forward, I think is so magnificent. Yeah, that's pretty magic. I like that. Whew. All right, that one's marinating. Oh, you can see the little bit bubbling away inside behind my eyes, can't you? Oh, I really like that so much. I really like that so much. And so yeah, after this incredible year that I have been lucky enough to witness very close up of you going, nah, this is not for me anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm saying no. I am holding that firm. I'm going to let it all fall away. I'm going to create the space and let the space come and let the space be here. And then I'm going to just see like what's going to come into that space that I've created. And I know there have been some things dropping in that you've been developing and forming and letting take shape over this year. And now, like, you really have found your way back to boudoir photography because, I mean, my God, like, no one else does it like you. No one. You are magnificent. Like, you are mwah, a savant. And you do it in true Jodi fashion, which is just so special and so perfect. So, what feels different about it now? Like, for so many of us, and I know I've done this before, where I've denounced something. No, I'm no longer doing that. No, that is not who I am anymore. I'm not available for that anymore. That's not what I do. And then it quietly comes crawling back and it comes knocking back on my door again. It's like me and fucking blogging. It's like I'm not a blogger anymore. I don't blog. I don't write on the internet. And then it's like, oh, hi, Substack. Hello, I'm writing on the internet again. Oh, look at her go. Can't help herself. And then I'm like, no, I really need to change my writing style. I need to be like somebody else. And then it's like, nah, the personal writing style just comes knocking back on my door again, going, bitch, this is how you write. Like, stop denying us. How does it feel for you having boudoir photography come knocking back on your door again, going, hey?
Oh, it felt nice. It felt nice. I can't deny it felt really good. And I've just built um such a library of experiences over this past decade. And I think this next chapter is just going to be so much more expansive. So I'm not a photographer. I'm just Jodi Plumbley, which is ironically when I first set up my website, all the SEOs and things said it should have been jodiplumbleyphotography.com because it's better for search engines and blah blah blah. Again, don't quote me, but I think that's what happened. And I remember thinking at the time, nah, no, I just want to be me. I just want to be my name in case I decide to change in the future. And that's what I've come to realize. Like, yeah, now it's yeah, I will offer photography again, but I'm also an artist and a space holder and lots of different things. So they're all going to come under this umbrella. But the reason boudoir photography came back in is because it's just the core themes are all there. It's like helping women connect with themselves, seeing themselves in their true radiant beauty, which we all are. Everyone wants to think they're not, but really we are. Self-expression and clearing shame. It's all the same things what I was doing in my photography, but now I've just found and acquired more magical skills to extend my offerings, and now I just do a bit of everything. And I think that feels really cool. Feels really fun and free and open.
Yeah.
I think you've just got to make your own rules, because even when
Yeah.
you have your own business, you can really get stuck in, I remember like sitting here one day editing photos, and it was such a beautiful day outside, and I was like, hang on, I work for myself. Why don't I just go to the beach and do my editing later? And I just went and had this kick-ass day. I spoke to the lady at the bookshop and she's like, oh, that's so cool. You're not working. But I was like, oh, well, I have to work later. But I remembered that I work for myself and I get to make up my own rules. And we just had this conversation about how funny it is that, we can trap ourselves so easily in these thoughts and beliefs and conditioning. So yeah, it's just a funny trip, this life, isn't it?
It really, really is. And I love what you said, but I want to like call it out and sort of magnify it back to you. Is you said, "Oh, I'm just Jodi Plumbley." And just Jodi Plumbley is everything. You know, I love that you said I'm just Jodi Plumbley, but what that means is you get to be the fullest expression of yourself. You get to be the full spectrum of yourself, meaning you get to bring forward the photography, the events, the art, the everything else that you will ever do in the course of the rest of your life under this beautiful, magnificent name of Jodi Plumbley. And they're all interwoven and they're all connected. And I think that's something really to be celebrated.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important you say that as somebody who is, a very respected artist and photographer in your own right, that you say that and other women hear you say that because then what that does is like what you alluded to before and other stuff you've been sharing with us is when you see someone else say that, that gives you permission to claim it for yourself.
Mhm.
Is like, yeah, my business is called Sonia Baverstock. My website is soniabaverstock.com. I get to do whatever the fuck I want, and whoever the fuck I am gets to be expressed through that because I am this, I am that, I am everything, I am all the things I am passionate about. And I think it's really important, especially for women who want to pursue either their own creative outlets or their own businesses or whatever it is under their own name, that they know that that is enough and that is everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so good. I'm so glad you said that. And I'm so glad you're claiming it as well. And yeah, I'm really excited to see it come back. And like you said, this next chapter of your work. That's what I loved hearing you say as well, is because, I think especially during the pandemic, the word pivot got like absolutely thrashed.
Yes.
And then but also in the online business world, we tend to again shame people who are like, oh, here she goes. And that yet another transformation, yet another evolution. Oh, she's had another pivot. Oh, she's doing this now. She's doing that now. And it just makes me think of one of your favorite all-time artists, Madonna.
Oh,
How many evolutions has Madonna been through? How many transformations, reinventions has Madonna been through? Could we even put a number on it?
yeah.
And yet we still love her to bits. Like we just think, cool, what's she got for us now? You
Yeah.
know? And I know that's what you love that about her. I love that about her. And I think, sometimes if you are struggling with like, oh, I actually want to change or I want to introduce something new or I want to try something else, what would Madonna do?
Yep, 100%.
Could that become one of our little mottos? Is like, what would Madonna do? She would be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
I did go through a stage where I was like, what would Martha do? Remember that
Oh,
stage about
yes, I
Martha
remember
Stewart
that when
after
we
we'd
watched the
seen the
Martha Stewart
doco?
doco.
Like, yeah, oh, Martha, she gets it.
Martha would just she does whatever the fuck she wants. She like want to be on Sports Illustrated cover at 81? Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Okay, do
yeah,
it.
so good.
Well, yeah, just pick your favorite icon. I think the point I'm trying to make here is like pick your favorite icon. Sometimes like we can't sometimes we get in our own heads or we get in our own way. And I know I'm very good at this. And I've just read a quote today on Instagram that said, get yourself in rooms with women who remind you of your power when you forget.
Oh,
And I love that we have girlfriends that can do that for us. And also, if we are alone and, life is busy and we can't always be in constant contact with one another. So it's like when you are alone, like pick your favorite icon, whether it's Martha Stewart, whether it's Madonna, whether it's who else do we love? Oh my God, so many like amazing women out there. Is like, what would she do? What would she do in this situation? What would she do in this scenario? Like, what would she say? What would she say to this opportunity or whatever? And sometimes that's just really fun because it gets you out of your own head, it gets you out of your own way, and it kind of reveals what you actually really want.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
fun. It's just like a fun little game to play. It was like you. Like, I feel like you're so good at gamifying, for want of a better word. Like, you're so good at gamifying the game of life, like, literally. And that is seriously, I can't remember if you said you've read it as well, but like, one of my most favorite spiritual books I've ever read in my entire life is The Game of Life and How to Play It by Frances Scovel Shin. And it was written in 1925. Like, she's a pioneer of the spiritual, like, texts.
Wow.
And it is the most like straightforward, bloody, no bullshit, like no fluff spiritual books I've ever read. But like okay, I'm gonna have to give you I'll give you my copy when I see you for a cup of tea because like you have to read it because she reminds me so much of you and like how you've chosen to play this last year out. You know, is like you game it like gamifying it. Like obviously you take life seriously. Like you have a like a loving long-term partner, you have your daughter, like you know, you have a home, you've got family members, like you've got responsibilities, you've got a dog. God bless Alvin. I love that boy so much. Um, so you take your life seriously. And also when you're moving through shit, when you're moving through stuff, you're like, what can I learn from this? And I think that's really such a
Yeah.
beautiful, like, I suppose, disposition to have.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that book. You're going to fucking love it. Okay. I've got one last question for you before I let you go and make you have a cup of tea with me. I'll be over in 2 minutes. The funny thing about this is, guys, if like for you listening, is that Jodi splits her time between two homes, and not like because she can, and it's wonderful, and like I get to see her sometimes because they have two gorgeous homes, and at the moment she is literally a what, 3 minute drive away from me, but we're sitting on Zoom separately in our houses having this conversation so I can record it because I'm not tech savvy and I don't have the equipment. But we are always only like when we're always only a few minutes away. So I'll deliver the book and we'll have a cup of tea and it'll be great. But
Nice.
to wrap things up, so funny, so silly. To wrap things up, I have one last question for you that I have been asking all of the women that have come on the Creatress tapes. If you want to take a deep breath, you can take a deep breath now. And that is, I believe that all of us have a creatress essence, energy, spirit, whatever you want to call it, that lives within us. Because as women, we are inherently here to create in this lifetime, whether it's a family, a business, art, whatever it is. And so if there's a woman listening right now who just she really wants to tap into her inner creatress, just that little bit more, to bring it out just a little bit more, to be her just that little bit more, what would you most want her to know?
Oh, if she's anything like me, I would tell her to just relax. Just fucking relax. Don't chase it. Just it'll come. Yes, you have it. We all have it. It'll come when it's ready. I was so desperate to find my purpose and my passion when I was younger. And sometimes I think yeah, I was just so desperate for it that I missed so many clues along the way, you know? And whenever I get myself into a tiz, especially this last year, and whenever I connect in with my higher self, which I have developed a bit of a practice. So I highly recommend, there's so many ways to do it: breath work, meditation, I mean, walking on the beach, dancing, anything. Everyone's got their own ways. But the message I always get from myself: Jode, just relax. You're doing it. It's unfolding. It's happening. And then I think of nature and I just think about the seeds and flowers. And we always use this analogy, especially with you because you got your blooming season. And now I have been tending to a garden in our other house, and planting things and watching things grow is just like it just brings me so much peace, because you can't rush things, so yeah, I just think so. Well, most women, we're overworked, we're overstressed, we're carrying so much, and trying to find your creativity is just one more fucking thing to do. So just relax, and it just comes out. It naturally comes out, and then you just tend to it and just give it love and some sunlight, water, just the essentials. And I feel like you'll bloom when yeah, you'll bloom when you bloom. Um, so just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. It's like that beautiful saying, like, whatever is meant for you will never miss you,
That's
you know?
it. Yeah. And I find that's just so calming and reassuring for me because it takes that desperation out of, we get so caught up in these trivial decisions or, even like, oh, what's my purpose? What am I meant to do? And I think, yeah, we just got to relax. Do the next right thing. Just do the next right thing, whatever that is. And that might look like loving the people around you more. And, everything's creative force. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. And it's coming through you, whether you realize it or not. It's just, you'll know when you start to recognize it, I think.
Yeah, I love that so much. I can just see the little Jodi book of tips is like plant a garden and plant some
Watch it
seeds, watch
grow.
them grow. That let it remind you of the seasons of nature and your own inner seasons. And as well, like the little things that I know you do around your home, like arranging your own little vase of beautiful fresh flowers, making the fruit bowl look nice. Like take off the fucking stickers. Don't leave them sitting in the netted bag. Like just those little things that bring you so, because like I know this, at the moment I go through phases with all my little spiritual toolkit. At the moment, sitting still in meditation is not for me. I'm in deep chronic overthinking mode. And so instead, like, how can you bring that mindfulness? How can you bring yourself back to that present moment of just taking a deep fucking breath and trusting that it's okay and you can't fuck it up? Rearrange your fruit bowl, plant
Yeah,
some herbs, plant some flowers, put some fresh flowers in a little vase. Like you can't fuck it up and
yeah.
it's going to be beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh, love this so much. You are the best. Thank you so much for
Thank
facing
you.
your fear and doing it anyway and
Oh,
being
thank you.
inspired.
Whew. I
You
survived.
did it.
I survived. I can't wait to see what reward awaits me from the universe.
Uni Yeah, she's ready for a reward, universe. Thanks very much.